Hi, I'm Matt Robison. I'm a former congressional staffer and campaign manager, and I'm happy to be joining you on Cliff Schecter's channel because this week there was a huge story with massive implications for our democracy that may have flown a little bit under the radar. I think it's something that we all need to be paying much more attention to. A reclusive billionaire named Barry Side gave $1.6 billion to an organization controlled by Leonard Leo. Who's Leonard Leo? He may be more responsible than anyone else in America for the ultra right-wing takeover of our judiciary and the Supreme Court, something we've all been living through, especially in recent months. He sits at the center of a web of shadowy organizations that take in dark money and put out ultra right-wing judges. This graphic shows just a very simple slice of his empire. Lots of groups, lots of money. $580 million raised and spent in just a few years that we've been able to track. And it's worked. Here's U.S. Senator Sheldon Whitehouse talking to me and former Congressman Paul Hodes on our podcast, Beyond Politics, just a couple of months ago.
You don't spend $580 million just to get popcorn. You are really shooting for big game. And then when you look at what's become of the court and how their rulings are, you can see that they've actually succeeded. And the devices that they've used have been, the Federalist Society and the Digital Crisis Network and a whole array of phony front groups.
So how does this work? Well, here's an example. Back in 2005 and 2006, Leonard Leo was the leader of the campaigns that were supporting Supreme Court nominees John Roberts and Samuel Alito. That coalition spent about $15 million in donations from undisclosed donors on ads, telemarketing, and mobilizing grassroots groups. They conducted polls, they crafted persuasive messages, they arranged dozens of background briefings for reporters, and they attacked anyone who might have opposed those nominees. But again, this is just the tiny bit we know about. Back to that graphic. You see the Judicial Crisis Network there? They do a lot of that spending I was just talking about. Now, Leonard Leo's role there isn't totally public. He's head of something called the Federalist Society. But of course, the Judicial Crisis Network's office is located in the same building, on the same hallway, in a downtown Washington office building as the Federalist Society. And that's the way all of this goes. We uncover just a fragment of the links in what really looks like a vast right-wing network of money and influence. And most of it involves two people, Leonard Leo, and the other one is the wife of Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas, Ginni Thomas. She keeps popping up in this story too. Here's another example. In 2010, Leonard Leo served on the board of a Tea Party group called Liberty Central. Who was the president of that group who received $120,000 as part of their startup? Ginni Thomas. She also, of course, works closely with Leo's group, Freedom Works. She helps run the Council for National Policy. That's one to Google if you haven't heard of it before. It's an ultra right-wing group that, for example, advocated for creating false slates of electors to try to overturn the 2020 election. Speaking of trying to overturn that election, Ginni Thomas is also an active participant in an email listserv of former Clarence Thomas judicial clerks. That was the listserv that Ginni Thomas kept messaging in the run-up to the insurrection to try to goad on challenges to the election. By the way, one of the people on that listserv, one of those former Clarence Thomas legal clerks, is a lawyer named Tyler Green. Now, he used to clerk for Clarence Thomas. He owns a house that's listed as the location of a trust that was established in Utah. That trust is the organization that received the new $1.6 billion donation that Leonard Leo controls. You see what I mean when I say that the more you look at this, the more it's clear that it's all connected in a massive right-wing doom loop. Every link goes somewhere bad. Just one more example. This graphic from the Washington Post shows how Leonard Leo sat at the center of some more organizations that funneled money from the NRA into ads to get right-wing extremists onto the Supreme Court. Now, you probably have heard of some of the ties between the NRA and Russia under Vladimir Putin. But those ties aren't just limited between Vladimir Putin and the NRA, they also extend to other parts of this network. We're pretty sure that there's money coming in from Vladimir Putin and other foreign interests who are our enemies. Here is Senator Whitehouse again on Beyond Politics.
The domestic special interest protecting this system that enables them to have political control in Washington requires them also to leave vulnerabilities to foreign influence, right? If it's a secret pathway of influence and money, it's just as secret for Marathon Petroleum and for Vladimir Putin or for the Grand Ayatollah or whoever wants to make mischief. And the fact that Americans are protecting these avenues of influence in order to keep their own grip on power, even though it's obvious that they can be and have been used by foreign influencers, just shows how morally decrepit they are.
That's why we need to be paying much more attention to this $1.6 billion donation to Leonard Leo. A top campaign finance lawyer with a nonpartisan watchdog group Documented said this week that it was entirely unprecedented for a political operative like Leo to be given control of such an astonishing sum of money. We've never seen it before. We've probably only seen a fraction of what's going on now, and we know all the damage that it does. Hey, please make sure to subscribe to Cliff's channel here and to subscribe to Beyond Politics wherever you get your podcasts, because we're both going to be doing our best to stay on top of all of this.